So good morning, everyone. Welcome to pre-market quantum session. I don't run these a whole lot, mainly because the kids, when they have school and things like that, and I am not an early bird. I usually wake up like at 7:30ish at the throne, hang out with the family or something a little bit, and then come in and trade a little bit with the morning show guys, and then do my routine. But I figured I'd run some little pre-market quantum stuff. So, because quantum tends to move really well in the pre-market sessions, especially when there's volume. Usually starts to kick in after 7 a.m. And you could get some plays. It's not that bad. There are between, I want to say, as the closer we get to 9, the rangier and choppy it gets, but it also helps me gauge the levels that the opening market may test. Now, the areas that the market may test, right, for me, I have a combination of confluences with the levels and my soft boxes, which I think we're going to be calling them gravity zones or something. I'm not 100% sure yet. But these are areas where price continuously gets drawn to. There's a specific reason for them that, I've tested thousands and thousands, literally thousands of hours. I have years of data on these, and it's a common pattern I see around them, right? And I use those as major confluence additions to quantum. So when I see signals around them, I tend to not really hesitate to take them. I still don't like to play against a trend, but these are major areas. Obviously, we had a big uptrend push, right? Big uptrend push for the last couple hours. We hit up one of my boxes here, respected a level inside the box right underneath midline, and nice rejection here, right? We got the 2-minute signal off of it, right? But again, right, I want to emphasize with the lesson we went over yesterday, you have to be wary of where the crosses occur. Where the crosses occur above a bearish candle, you have to be cautious, because if this level gets retested, there's a chance you're going to break that bearish candle right here. And then you have a potential of a failed bearish move and a continuation push up. Obviously that didn't occur. That candle held strong, never really got contested all the way to the wick. We even created a new purple candle right here that you can absolutely mark up right underneath a 5-minute level creation. So looking at my 5-minute, if I'm just looking at my 2 and my 5, they look like they're trying to come into agreement into curling, the action lines curling down to create additional levels. So this right here, right, we got our 5-minute signal, but it was already a big push down. The 2-minute ended up being the better entry of the two. And we got this nice bleed through to that 5-minute level right below at 28,981, where it bounced off pretty dang hard. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what levels we're testing pre-market, what areas have potential strength of hold, and where we could potentially come down to. Okay, and this, I left some of these lines on, because some of these lines on the 5-minute, we were going over the quantum failed candles and all this fun stuff, right? So when you have a failed continuation like this, right, this one right here failed to push through, why, right? I need to zoom out and make sure I drew my, right, if I had this and I didn't zoom out, guess what I would have missed? That guy right there. So it's important to keep an eye on where these quantum candles are, right? So you had 2 here, so this whole area is a barrier. While you did break one, the second one failed to break. This one was gone, right? That's your rejection right here, pulled all the way back down. Then you can see, right, over here where I went over the quantum blue breaks, the breaks and retests, you had a break and a retest of 2 quantum blues, right? 5-minute time frames, again, higher risk trades, but they play out the exact same. So this big breaking candle right here, I'm going to draw an arrow right at it right there. Whoops, move the arrow. Right, this candle right here broke 2 quantum candles. So now I'm looking at this candle as a major stronghold. Right, again, the setups we did yesterday on the shorts, on the breaks of the blues, would be your breaking candle as your stop loss guide, and you have 2 retest zones. Right, I like to see if the retest zone at the top will get tested. A lot less risk than trying to enter down here, right? Down here will be 25 points, up here will be around 13, 14 points. 10 points, 12-point difference is a big difference. And then you go for your 1-to-1. Obviously this thing bled through and gave you a beautiful push down, created a new blue over here. All right, we even broke this one over here as well, gave you a deeper retest. We had a couple more, right? This candle right here actually broke 2 more here, both of these. That's probably why that bled a little deeper. Okay. And we had this big blue all the way down here at 28,714 that has not been tested yet either. So I'm always looking at my higher time frames for those major levels because the higher time frames tend to be stronger. So when New York comes in and opens up high volume, right? High volume kicks in, and high volume will not really care too much about the lower time frame levels a whole lot, right? Doesn't mean they won't necessarily react, but they do sometimes. But the 5-minute levels, the 5-minute zones tend to be the strongest that I see reactions on when you see a violent pull down when that New York open occurs. So I like to wait to see where on the 5-minute it's going to retest. And you can see the swing points as well, the cloud, all that combined, right? We just bounced hard off of this 981 level. Just an example where you had a bleed through, 981 held. You actually had another 5-minute level somewhere right here, I think at 2905. It bled through that and tapped 28,981 and a quarter. So that's what I'm looking at for pre-market. I'm looking at my higher time frame areas because these are the higher areas of hold. Okay, and I'm going to use my 1 and my 2 to get some potential short-term frame movement, right? Quick movement, seeing if my 1 minute setting up for potential curl up in an area as well. It happens really fast at the open, but you can catch really good reactions and really good reads when you have these higher levels. And you could do this with a 15-minute as well, right? Higher level time frames marked up. So let's take a look at our 15-minute. All right, and you could do the same thing. Right, the thing with these is these are more violent areas. I don't like to play these 15-minute ones. Right, you see this break and rejection. We still had that 5-minute one above. Just created a new 15-minute very close to that 5-minute. So now I'm looking at this 2977 area as a strong area for potential hold. If you see a break through it, right, that might be a big time failed bearish move, which could cause a big push up. Right, can you mark these? Absolutely, you can. Right, big areas, big levels, but again, you have to be cautious with the higher time frames because they take a lot longer to develop. You're going to see a lot more back and forth on these. Right, you can go up to the 30. That would be the maximum I would ever go to personally. But you're going to fight these candles. But again, you have guys like Scat who are patient and use the hourly. I don't use the hourly. He does. He made it his own. That's what I love reading his little breakdowns. Right? He's very active in here. He's become one of our like generals or whatever you want to call it, right? Or my conductor partner. I don't know what you could call it, right? But he's very, very, very well versed with quantum. And I love the way he uses, the hourly levels. He uses the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Right? He uses these as major areas, and I love that. I love reading what he's looking at. I just watch it on my chart. Sometimes I'll mark it up and I'll just want to see what it does. Right, you got big areas up here. Look at this, look at this hourly, right? I've seen this. I've gone into it when he does his little thing, and I see these hourly levels, right? I see them, and I know that they tend to hold pretty dang well, right? But you've got big ones all the way up. So then this is something, if somebody's way more patient than me, absolutely, you can use these. You can mark them up. You can label them, right? You can put 1 hour, right? Or the 4 hour. This is a 4 hour level, I believe. So this is a 4 hour, right? Just leave it marked up, and there's your 4 hour level. You can leave on your 5, right? Go to my 5, and there it is, 4 hour. So I know that's a 4 hour level. Right? These are how you can guide these. This is how you can use it as extra guidance of where price might react in a longer time frame. I don't use them, but I see them. I know some of y'all do, and it's freaking awesome. I'm just not that patient enough to wait for those reactions. Right? I want to catch the reactions in between the movement that I tend to see. Gonna hit. News at 8:30 in case anyone. Ooh, there's news at 8:30. What kind of news, Chris? Because Quantum calls out some pretty decent news trades. So we're going to blend this. We're going to blend this with a pre-market session setup and news read. The news candle is going to be a candle to watch out for the open as well if it's yellow or red folder. Not much brisket. Just went over a little bit of the market, what I look for in pre-market right before into New York Open. There tends to be decent movement between 7 and 9-ish. The closer you get to 9, the choppier it tends to get. But then when 9 comes in, I like to see if we're going to get some range around the higher time frames to see if we have potential setups for the New York Open where it's going to go to test. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention yesterday, right? We didn't actually go over MOC yesterday. I said we were going to go over it, but I'll kind of sneak it in today, right? The levels. I wait for level reactions for Asia Open. I wait for level reactions around any market open time if it presents. I want us to be near levels. And that is pretty much what MOC is. MOC started off as a 1 minute level reaction zone. Basically, all right, if we're near a 1 minute level, I want to see what it does. If we're above it, I want to see that level hold. If we're below it, I want to see that level reject. If we're in between levels, I'm going to wait for reaction. So if you're listening to me during power hour, you're gonna, as we get closer to 3:50 p.m. Eastern time, the MOC candle, I'm gonna be gauging where are we on the chart. Are we near a 1 minute level? Are we gonna create a 1 minute level? Or are we in between levels, and am I gonna wait to test a push if I have enough room, or wait for reaction? And it's very important to be patient on those. Let's do a little replay while it's kind of just doing a little nothing. Well, news, when news comes closer, well, we'll get it. It's probably going to start ranging for news. All right, let me get rid of these guys for now. And then we'll go back to Thursday and Friday. Okay. Thursday, MOC call. Okay. Pretty sure a lot of you guys remember this. Those of you that were on Power Hour on Thursday remember this. There was this push down, right? This is 344 right now. So I'm going to wait to see where we're going to go test, right? Right now, we're about to create a 1 minute level here, and I'm looking if we're going to get pushed to that 3083. Above, we have 29,216. So I'm already gauging my levels, 29,216, 2983, and we're about to create one here in the middle at 29,130-ish. So let's hit play, right? There it goes, okay. So here's our 349 candle. Okay, you can already see it right now, but that went a little too fast. Let me actually slow it down, and let me redo the bar. Okay, let that repopulate. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, there's that 1 minute level created right here, 29,134.50. So now I have two levels to gauge for, 29,134.50, 29.83. So what I want MOC to do is to hang out near one of these levels, either right below this one or right above this one, and then I want to see this area hold. We also have a 5 minute level below, and the note I made yesterday was that lately the 5 minute levels have begun to be respected on MOC. That was not the case 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it was strictly the 1 minute levels. I started to notice MOC started to respect these 5 minute levels. Not 100% sure why, but it just has. It wasn't the case for the longest time. I want to say almost 180 plus days. It was all the 1 minute level. Lately, I've seen the 5 minute add a little bit of strength. So right now, right, we're at 346, right? There's no clean read until we're near a level. As we approach that level, right here, right, you got a little golden MVG that showed up as well. So kind of got stuck in this little tiny pocket. But I want to see this 380, this 29.83 and 81 area hold, and that's it. Once that 349 candle closes above these levels, I'm entering the long. I just want this to hold, right? My stop loss would be right below this area, right? I give it a little bit of breathing room for MOC. It tends to get wicky, so I'm going to try to enter around 83 as closer as possible, but I want it to hold. I don't want it to break through it and then go the opposite way, the magnet, all right? So I'm looking to enter either at the candle close that holds above or as close to this 83 level, and I just want to keep a stop loss below it, right? Maybe 70. If I'm entering down here, I'll probably do a 10 to 15 point stop loss, give it a little bit of breathing room. That's why I size down pretty well. If I'm entering at the candle closure, it's gonna be very simple. If it breaks too far in, maybe 5-10 points down, you could set your stop loss, right? Risky, of course, because you also have this 2 minute level that got created, and then you have that 1 minute level. I mainly aim for it to go tap a 1 minute level or a 5 minute level. Those are the levels that I see get the most respect. Obviously the outcome we already kind of know, right? It held and then it skyrocketed, it exploded up. That's all MOC is. It's very simple. It's very, very simple, but you have to wait for it, you have to be patient, and you have to have room, right? You want to have room for it to go. If it doesn't have room for it to go, then you tend to see pauses, right? We had that level break. We had not an A++, right? We had new levels created once it broke through that level, okay? And then it raced and continued on this little merry way up near those other levels. Look at that, right? Boom, just like that, right? Let's see what occurred here, because I can't remember what happened here. If that's where it rejected, that's where it rejected, right? Look at that 5 minute level hold, wick, 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 wick. That's where it rejected, and then it hung out. Pulled down a bit slowly, and it just hung out. That's it. That's all MOC is, right? It was one level hold, pushed through another level, pushed to test the other levels, rejected the 5 minute. That is literally all MOC is. It is very, very basic. If you have quantum, that's all I'm reading, right? Whoops, let me check. Let me go to Friday. Date. All right, Fridays wasn't so hot. Fridays was like a little right? Didn't explode a whole lot. It was trapped. Right, Fridays MOCs tend to be a little bit of just little spurts, and then it kind of hangs out. Right, Fridays MOCs are a mixed bag, honestly. Right, here we go at 3. Whoops, didn't choose the right time. Let's go to date, and then Friday, and then 15:45. Boom. Okay, there we go. And here we are. Right, look at this. Right, we're surrounded by levels. It's pretty tight. This is where I'm going to be cautious, because a retest, it could retest, reject, it could retest. Anything below, let me get rid of that. All right, we didn't really have a level below. We had a 2 minute level below, but let's watch. Let's see what we get as we approach. Okay, so right now, we have that level at 27.97 a minute before, and it did already push up. It's pushing over that 5 minute level. So if that 5 minute level holds, you'll see a little bit of a push up. Again, we have another level at 28.71. So it's got a little bit of room, but we're still 2 minutes from MOC. It already pushed off of a level. Now we're hanging out in between, right? This is the issue, right? We're hanging out in between levels. You don't have a really super clean move. The only clean move you had was that 5 minute level broke, okay? And it did break and retest. That 5 minute level that was here, right there, right? 28.816 did break on this candle. And then you had a break and retest of that 5 minute, and then it pushed up. That was it. And the push up wasn't even that good. It was kind of like it stalled out at this 2 minute level. Okay, so you'll see that little boom, right? Pushed up right at that 2 minute level. Couldn't make it all the way up here, and then it just hung out. Then it kind of just stayed in here in this little range, and actually gave you a quantum signal for a pull down. I missed this one. For what time was that? 3:57. I must have not been paying attention. No, I think I played a 4 o'clock setup. I think I caught a 4 o'clock setup here, and that's something that I have. There is a 4 o'clock setup that I have, but not for quantum. That is something I teach. And then after that, it just hung out. Yeah, that's where it hung out. And just like that, right? So MOC after market closure, 1 minute, 5 minute levels. Now that's actually a really nice little pull down. The only thing about this that I don't like is that cross did occur 2 candles behind, and it still triggered the signal. I gotta figure out why, because it should have only triggered it if it was within 1 candle. But that was, that was the move. That's 371, never got tapped, and a hard rejection right there. And that was Friday's MOC. Thanks. And good morning, everyone. So you play the MOC levels with P2P? No, I don't, Brisket. I only play MOC with the quantum levels. That's it. Only quantum levels. I don't use anything else when I'm reading MOC. Nothing at all. Like I even remove sauce boxes, just because it really goes for those levels. Let's go ahead. Here's the range, pre-news range. Ooh, the 2 minute is kind of telling us it wants to push up, but here's where, right, you have room only to this 26 area. If we break 26, you have room to push up here. So this news is coming in already. 2 minutes kind of telling me it wants to. We're breaking purples right now. We respected these 2 blues. Looks like slowly buyers are kind of peeking in. It does not, news always you have to be careful, because it could give you double wicks. All right, but right now what this is telling me, there's a little bit of pressure up. It's not looking super strong. We still need to break through this. All right, we're going for it right now. We got about a couple minutes left for news, and this is how I look at news, right? Signals are pretty decent, and again, right, you still have to gauge your risk right before news. It can absolutely, if it triggered on the 1, it would have been much better. The 2 minute now is kind of deep. It can retest pretty dang deep. Like this would be the 2 minute right now, because you're looking for entry at the close. That's a 25-point stop. Ugh. Let's see if it gives it to us on the news or not. Like right around there. It's like 26 points that you're looking for. That's a very risky 2 minute candle. Very risky. All right, we just broke through that 1 minute. The 5 minute still also, right? The 5 minute still also fighting, and that would actually be your 1-to-1 right here on this 2 minute. That would be your TP would really be right at that line, that downtrend that we see, that little red. But I'm gonna watch this. Let's see what happens here in a minute. 1 minute left. It's already pushing up pretty good. Let's see if it explodes or not. Thanks and good morning, everyone. So you play the MOC levels like P2P? Oh, I play them like P2P. Yes, I play them like P2P, Brat Biscuit. I read it wrong. I thought you said if I use P2P, but no, I play them like P2P. It's Canadian. It's not that important, I believe. It's Canadian. Okay, we might not get much reaction then. All right, this news might be eh. I mean, it's still ranging like pre-news does. So it might not give you much. It might not move much. We'll see. Anything red should be respected. Yeah, red folder. If it's red folder, it should be. CPI. It's Canadian. I don't know. Honestly, I never paid attention to Canadian stuff. It is red folder Canadian news, but you know, who knows? We'll see. We'll see if this pops up or not, or if it just gives you a little dud. There goes. Barely. Barely. Just a little pop. So I guess it's not super duper important. That wasn't an explosive move at all. Usually news is a lot more explosive if it's very important. So that gave you 12 points. Yeah. Ayo, ahoy, travelers, ahoy. I see how the blue broke 2 purples, which retest. Am I looking for? You're looking at the entry on the retest, easy trades, right? The retest is your entry. If it doesn't present a retest, you can wait for a retest. But usually for me, if it doesn't present a retest at the beginning, you know, I tend to just watch for. I use other confluences at that point, like the DOM, to see if the DOM is going to respect this 26 area. It could come all the way down to test the 2 minute level as well. So this could come through pretty deep, right? Again, that wasn't much of a news play. That 2 minute, basically it was almost like it was pricing in the news already, and then gave you a little extra pop, and that was it. So when you have good news plays, right, you're going to tend to see a more violent, explosive move. This was Canadian red folder. There's a little bounce right there off the retest zone, right? 27, 25. Your stop loss would be under 17. Did you get 37? You did. 27 to 37, that's your 10 points, your 1-to-1, and now you're seeing if the runners continue to hold, and you can push, right? And again, right, this is how I gauge retest zones, right, where my stop loss is. If my stop loss is down there, right, I could begin an entry very close to that retest zone. When the stop loss is within 10 points, I will probably begin a small entry near a stop loss zone, right? If my stop loss is what, 9.7 points here, I can start entry over here at 10, because I always go for 10 first. Remember, I always go for 10 first, so I might go for a light entry here. If it pulls back, I'll get another and see if I can get my quick little nibble there for a quick play. And if I get it, great. If I don't, right, 10 points, not going to kill me. That's how I play these, right? You can wait for the retest. Again, you should always be able to identify your stop loss first, right? Stop loss is the breaking candle. Right? There's a continuation. Now, if this thing continues to go, I mean, the 2 minute setup is still there. I'm still watching it. It hasn't stopped you out here. You had a 1 minute setup here you could have taken, right, for a little quick nibble, right, using that candle as your stop loss point. Retest zone within 10 points. I would take a nibble at it. That was it. That was the news. The Maestro trades. Okay. Oh, we got 10K. Awesome. Thank you, Juan. Dude, our Instagram just exploded. It's weird. Like, again, like I'm still not used to the social media thing. All right. So not worried about the retest of the two purples at 08 and 17. Oh, thank you, brother. 08 and 17. Where are you looking at? 08. 08 and 17. Yes. You're always going to be gauging what it could potentially do here, right? You can always potentially retest those zones. Absolutely. Right? If it never came back to retest, it can absolutely come back to retest. There's no question about that. So I do look at that as potential pullback zones, right? If we're going to get a pullback, at 2 minutes kind of stalling out. We are in a little bit of a downtrend again. I didn't peak here, make a new higher high, so let me get rid of. Oh, I'm going to put it back there until it stops it out because I'm not in this trade. I did take a nibble on that 1 minute trade. I don't like this risk on that 2 minute. Again, right? I'm very picky. I'm very, very picky. All right, so here we go, right? You have your retest area 1, just broke through. And then you have your retest area 2 and 3. And then below these, right, you would have the blue candles. It has to break through each one because these are failed bearish moves that become support. There's a little bit of a wick. All right, look at that wick right off of that retest area. All right, but again, right, the stop loss on these is all the way down here. Very risky, but there you go, right? You can actually see how these retest areas, right? Retest 1, breaks through 1, goes to the next, breaks through the next, goes through the next. There was the where bounce, look at that. And again, this is how I can read the market the way I read it, right? Why I have the levels that I have. I can see where there's going to be potential reactions, and wow, that thing bounced really hard off that second retest zone, right? Once this one broke through completely, I ignore it. Now it's done, right? It's already been broken through down and the top. That retest zone doesn't matter to me no more. Now this, right, we got this purple candle up here now, right? That one, that retest zone. And I don't leave these lines here, guys. Like, again, right, I've been doing this for long enough where I don't have to leave these. I will erase these. I just know that these are areas, especially if I can still see it on my chart. I mark a lot of these things up when I'm sharing charts so everyone can kind of see where I'm eyeing and what levels I'm looking at, especially for the quantum users. But for the majority of the time, I'm removing these, right? These are out of the way for me because I can see these candles here and I can still gauge where at 29.17, 29.08. All right, we got a new blue. Blue's still being respected on the 1. So that trend up push, right? We're challenging this big purple on the 5 still. 2 minute hasn't technically been stopped out yet. We look on the 1, we're flipping trend a little bit. Do you know? All right, so you only use SPX as Confluent, sometimes not ES. Yes, Chris, I only use SPX during New York, and that's it. I don't use ES at all during any other trading sessions, at all. See, this one's tricky because we are pulling up to this 5 minute blue, but 5 minute purple, but it didn't even give you a retest. Your stop loss is well below here. It's not horrible. You could begin entry around here. But remember, we're fighting this big boy, so it's going to get pretty choppy the more it tests it. I like to always test and see, right? This is what it looks like. Right? You want to see if it holds this retest candle. If it breaks down below, then it's going to test that blue. And it's just going to get choppy. Fighting a big purple in the 5, you're always going to get very, very choppy and wicky. And again, I don't like to fight the trend. So if I see red, I'll be cautious, but I still like to see if it plays out or not. I always take an eye, right? Everything's about looking and knowing where your stop loss is and being okay with the outcome. Action lines curling down as well. 2 minute, technically the 2 minute play hasn't stopped you out yet. It's still like it has to push up here, but you have to get through all these little pushes. Right, look, there's a little test to retake that area. Now, this is the retest zone, right? This retest zone that gave you that. There's your 8 points stop loss. Now your TP would be around 10. Your initial TP, 50. All right, 50 is what you needed to hit if you're going to go for the 10-point TP on the 8-point risk. If you waited for the retest zone, right? If I did it my way and I began my entry at 10-point risk and then I DCA'd in, my entry might be like somewhere around there. somewhere around there, right? That's where the adjustment might look like, but that's the retest zone. And now you just want to see if those action lines fail to cross down, because if they cross down, it's coming down. It's coming down to test. But again, we're fighting this 5 minute purple. So this is what's scary about this, and this is where I play extra cautious, right? I might only play 2 micros just because I know there's a chance we're going to get rejection because of that big purple on the 5. My wife said if I don't pass my eval today, then I'm yeah. You're gonna want to wait for like a trifecta or something, like a really nice play, a rejection somewhere. Stick to the sauce boxes, Dan. Stick to the sauce boxes. That's my recommendation. Stick to them sauce boxes. Your wife put that on. All right. Is there times when you don't take a retest zone outside of when it's near a level example? Yes, that's just like this, right? We're fighting a big purple in the 5. I know it's extra risky. If I take it, I might take it with like 1 or 2 micros max, just because I know what we're up against, right? If this wasn't a big purple, then I wouldn't hesitate. But if it's a big purple, I know that this is a huge potential rejection area. Any of this can be a huge potential rejection area, and I'm just going to play it cautiously or not trade it at all, right? It just depends. If I'm on a certain account type, I'm just like, I'm not going to trade this on a funded account. Absolutely not. If I'm on an eval, I'll be like, yeah, let's see, right? Let's see if it plays out. I like to test things. I'll test things left and right. I like to collect data, and I like to see, if my reads are continuously, good, I guess is the best way to put it. All right. So there's rejection. There's big purple coming in. Oh no. Right. That's how I like to look at it. The 2 minute, it's like slowly grinding. There's that pullback. Right. If we break through, we're gonna test some of that blue. Right. So now this line's gonna move up. And right. And the closer we get to 9, this is what you tend to see. The closer you get to 9. So now, right, this is again, right, why this against this is not that good. You always have to keep an eye what you're up against. You're up against that big purple, you're gonna see this. Haven't technically been stopped out yet. All right, you're about to be if this thing locks in that level. The 2 minute hasn't though, but the 1 minute, this setup is about to be. But again, this is how, I like to show everyone true market reads, right? What's risky, what's not risky, what's better, what's not better. And you just let things play out, right? Again, we're playing up against this thing, which is bad. And now we have, actually, I like this for the opening New York, because now we have this nice gauge here for the higher time frame setup, right? There's your stop out. You got stopped out. 1 minute play didn't play out. Oh, well, right? You now collect data. Why didn't it play out? Because I was playing against this big purple 5 minute level, right? Super choppy area. I know this is a resistance zone. This whole thing is a resistance zone. I got to be cautious. 2 minutes still fighting. 2 minutes like, screw you, man. 2 minute versus 5 minute has a little more strength than the 1 minute versus 5 minute. All right. And there's that pull down. Let's see how much of that blue candle it goes to contest. I could come back down to this area. I still want to see blues respected. If this uptrend, this little uptrend on the 1 minute is going to keep holding, you want to see the blues get respected still. And then you want to see this pull back up to try to break that purple. Same thing on the 2. All right, we don't have anything else here. The 2 minute has another, right, let's actually adjust it. I don't think I adjusted any of my levels from last night. I passed out very fast. I don't remember what time I fell asleep. So you can still see these purple candles on my 2 minute that I never moved. All right, I'm gonna move them, adjust them, and then, all right, just keep them in play so I know where they're at when the market comes to them. Clone. Clone, there. And then we have that 2 minute right down here. I can still see it, so it's not that big of a deal if I mark it or not. And that's where we're at, right? 2 minutes still surviving. 2 minute play still surviving. 1 minute, pretty choppy, but let's see if this holds. We need to break through that level, need to break through that purple candle, and then do the next leg up if it's going to continue. If not, right, the 2 minute can take charge and could pull back down. 2 minute lines are curling down as well. 5 minute looks like it wants to curl up, but again, right, we're finding that big boy. Right, this is what the lessons are. It's important to show lessons on when things don't play out and why, right? This is why I always recommend learning from your losses. learn from the losses, look what happened, what was going on your chart, what you might have missed. Right, we're fighting that big purple, so this 2 minute now, right, it's gonna be potentially stopped out. If like, let's say somebody caught that pullback, let's see, 21 points before it pulled back up, it would have given you your 21 points, right? But that's not something everyone does. So again, right, this would be the initial entry. That would be, and 26 points is hefty. So that's, again, right, it's not playing out right now. We're fighting that thing. Ooh, another purple. So 5 minute looks like it's showing a lot of resistance. All right, boom. Let's see if that thing stays first. Right, let's watch and see if the sequence completes on the 5, because then if it doesn't change, I'm going to get rid of this line. Right, I've seen this time and time again where it'll begin and then it'll change back to normal. If the sequence stays, that'll stay there. This 2 minute will probably get stopped out. We'll see a test of that 29.05 level, and then that's where I'm going to look for the next reaction. All right. Took me a while, but it was a goal for this year. Awesome. Earlier, I was minus 1,000 account, 126 micro short. Oh, on a level of mines and got to 500. Wait, earlier I was minus 1,000 on my account. I 26 micro short on the level of mine, got to 200 pros. Like that count instantly. Good shit, Chris. That's good. That's a good day. That's a day. Coming back from minus 1,000 to plus 500. Yeah, close that shit out. Hey, is this quantum or study group? This is quantum MG. It's a quantum morning session, pre-market session. Yeah, when you have many accounts, anything adds up, so not even chasing. Yep, that's right, Rhymes. That's how I do it. All right, look at that. We're bleeding through, right? 5 minute strong, 2 minute play stopped out, done, right? Again, why did these plays not play out? Very simple. We're fighting against that thing right here, right? That is your barrier. Right, and it's important to understand the whys. Like, why did this happen? Can I put a rhyme or reason to it? And that's the important thing. That's going to help you learn, right? Don't fight against big time frame purples. And we still need to break below this 2 minute level and this 2 minute candle. We still have a couple 1 minute. So this area, obviously, where we can see a bit of a pause. That was a nice pull down. Not an A++. Why? Cross occurred in front. It did give you retest. I don't think I went over the advanced reads, huh? I don't think I went over the advanced reads yesterday. So the advanced reads are just level retests attached to a quantum candle, right? This would fit the bill, and this is just a pullback near the level, right? Again, everything's about gauging your risk, right? We already know your stop loss will be above purple, and if it comes back to test, right, anything within 10-point range, right, this will be my stop. If it comes back to test anywhere near this level that's within that 10-point risk range, I'll begin a little entry if, again, right, if I'm liking a potential move. Okay, and this is the advanced read. This doesn't always present. It's nice when it does. It's just a level retest, right? Your entry wouldn't actually be here or here because the cross occurred here. The level locked in. These two candles would be your potential entry point, right? Not here, not here. Here. That's the retest of a level. You could use your level as a stop loss or the candle, right? If it breaks through the level, it's going to test the candle. That's the advanced read, and it's attached to a quantum candle, right? This is how when these not A++ setups, the crosses occur in front, can be played potentially. But again, you don't want to play against the trend, but you have confluences. Here is that big purple 5 minute, right? That's your confluence. This big boy right here is your confluence. This is kind of a 2 minute advanced read right here happening too. Retest of a level attached, right, until it breaks below. The only issue with this, right, is that look how close that is to the bottom, right? You'd get instantly stopped out on a quick wick just like that. So this is also a 2 minute advanced read for a quick little bounce. But you would have gotten stopped out if you entered and you had your stop loss right below that blue, right? You would have gotten wicked out only for it to then push up. So the lower that retest zone is, the riskier it gets. Yeah, I see it right there. Did you not go in on that 1 minute purple candle because the crossover happened after the candle? Yeah, so easy, yeah. So I was always explaining, right? The crossover occurs in front. You have to be careful because this signal triggered on this candle. The retest you could have gotten in here. That's the advanced read. Right, look where we just did an advanced read on the 2-minute as well. We just did a 2-minute advanced read bounce here, but this one again, right? You would have gotten wicked out on that wick. Ooh, big blue. Big blue came in out of nowhere. So 2-minute advanced read just played. Right, retest of a level attached to a quantum level, just like that. What time is it? Closer we get to 9, it's gonna get choppier, so be cautious. I still need to break through this level, still need to break through that 29.45 if you're gonna continue to gun it. All right, we now have another 2-minute blue. So this bottom area, this 29,000 area, now kind of gaining a little bit of strength of support. Seeing a lot more blue showing up down here. Right to the top side, you got resistance. Right, if we manage to break through here, that 29.79. So this whole 29.80 pocket up to about 29.95. Then that level up top at 29.07 that rejected here. And that is a 5-minute level right below it. So this whole area, this 29.80 to 95 pocket. Let's watch and see what occurs here. That 5-minute does want to cross up though. That 5-minute looks like it wants to cross up. It's just, you have to be patient on this, especially pre-market. Pre-market is about patience, looking for what the setup's going to look like, looking for where your test zones are going to be. Right, you want to see if this 1-minute level will break, and then this 1-minute level here at 29.45 will break. Until then, we're going to either flip to a downtrend here, or we're going to just range until 9:30. All right, 5-minute rejecting that as well. Looks like we just created a 15-minute level. Let me take a peek at the 15-minute chart real quick. Yeah, got a 15-minute, another 15-minute candle also at 29.46. So that turned blue right there, purple right here. 15-minute level attached to it. Again, a 15-minute can take a while for it to develop. 5-minute chart. Something I think I need to work on to fix my psychology is scaling out appropriately. I usually just want the whole move, full TP and my risk. And when I scale into my level and I get wicked out short of my full TP. Yeah, it's, again, right, having TPs is nice, but using them as a guide point is what I kind of focus on. I'm never going to use a level as a TP. I'm going to use it as an area I need to trail closer on. If your levels are good and strong, there's no guarantee that it's going to hit that level. Is it cool when it hits it? Yes. But still, as it approaches, just like I use softbox, as it approaches a softbox, let's say I'm in a short, right, and it's approaching a softbox, and I have 2 runners. I'm going to pull one even closer, let one breathe a little bit, and I'm going to pull one even closer just because I know that softbox could give me a reaction. Same thing with like Llama's fibs. Yeah? You're a P2P user. Same thing if you're like in a 786 or 236, right? And you have 5-6 micros, right? As you get closer, you could trail 3 or 4 out and leave one runner just to see if it keeps going. But never let a green trade turn red. That's very, very important. Insanely important in any kind of trading, right? That's why I love micros. You can't scale out and leave any amount of contracts running on a mini. But if you're comfortable trading minis, absolutely go for it. Right? Do what works for you in the end. That's what's important. Do what works for you. All right, things have to make sense to you. So if you're looking at quantum as a strategy, you want to only use the reads that make sense to you, whether they're the levels, whether they're the candles, whether they're a combination of both, right? That's up to you. Everything quantum is laid out on my YouTube channel. I have nothing hidden on it. Other than what creates the blues and the purples and the action line values, right? Those are the only things that are in lock and key, but everything else, right? It's how to play it, entries, stop losses, the signals, right? The bad, the good, the ugly, it's all out there. I've traded this for well over 2 years now, I think, coming up, well, almost 2 years. The full development of quantum, not a full 2 years yet, but the candles themselves and small snippets of how I used to play EMAs and things like that, which are another action lines. They're all something I've traded for a very long time now. 2-minute purple just broke, but there's a 1 minute. Yep, see, and you can see where it could get trapped. This is how you avoid fake outs. The 1 minute, the 2 minute broke, the 1 minute did not. Right, the 5 minute rejected on this 15-minute level. Right, so we're getting extra chop right now as we're approaching close to 9. Right, you have this new 15-minute purple here at 29.46 as well. That level right there at 29.40. Right, your 15-minute time frame is going to give you some stronger little areas where we have one at 76 and one here. You can absolutely mark them if you want. 15 minutes the highest I like to personally go to, but you guys can go higher. Just like I said, scat goes up to the 4 hour. Right. So again, we're trapped. This is what I actually like for market open. I like when we get trapped in a nice little range, because then we have a potential push. Right, the first 5 minutes might give you a break and retest and a push. Or even the 15-minute orb might give you a push of a candle or a level. But this is getting into this nice pocket for pre-market that I'm looking at, right? And let's see, like I don't have the sauce boxes on right now. I can't open this up because I have sauce, so I have to keep that closed. But if I had the sauce boxes on right now, I'd have a good gauge of what reaction I'm looking for, right? If you guys are P2P users and you guys have the fibs, you could do the same thing. Like look what barriers are in between those fibs and where you're going to see some potential reactions. And when a true trend flip occurs, you're going to see which candles are respected or not. Oh, of course. The camera zoomed in. My eye is so red. I don't even know why my eye is red right now. It's like red. I just noticed it on the camera. Hit up support. Oh god, man, you guys are gonna get me killed with those. 2-minute purple's broken. Okay, I hit up support already. Like Quantum not showing up on my trading view, but I'm just wanting to see how Quantum works with P2P, and it's pretty cool to see the added confluence. I appreciate what you do, even though I joke. It's good, Chris, man. I'm a jokester myself. No, it's not my contacts I'm on. It's definitely not the contacts. The contacts are not bugging me at all, and it's like in the corner. It's like in the bottom. I might have gotten soap in it yesterday when I showered. I don't know. yeah, I'm not high either. Not high. Did you get soap in your eyes? Yeah, I always get soap in my eyes. Look at this, right? We're bouncing around back to that 29,005. 9 o'clock is about an approach. We're gonna get some volume at 9. The 5 minute, if the 5 minute's gonna downtrend a bit, then you're gonna see this 29 break. You're gonna see that 28 retested. You need to break that 81. If it's going to pull down or if it's going to range, it's just going to keep bouncing around these areas, back and forth, back and forth. All right. Anybody have any questions? Any questions I can answer for y'all? Alright, we'll just kind of chill and watch the chart a little bit. I hear how you need to respect larger timer candles helps a lot. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Those 5 minutes are my favorite. I always watch those 5 minutes, right? This one just broke, that blue one on the 1 minute, right? But we're still respecting this one. We still got that 2 minute level. We got two 2-minute candles, 5 minute candles. You still got a lot of fight to get through. Right, you got another level at 29.20. It's like kind of building a compression zone, right? It's starting to coil. The closer we get to 9:30. Let's see what happens at 9 o'clock. Because 9 o'clock brings in a tiny bit of volume, but the real volume comes in obviously at 9:30. And if you're a P2P user, right, you're looking at what levels formed around your 786 as well. If you're attached to one, gives it a little bit of strength. If it's really near one, if it's sandwiched between them. Right, that's a near thing. Again, I use the triple. My triple confluences with P2P, sauce box, quantum levels, and the fibs. Like I love those zones when they match up. They don't always, but when they do, oh, it's freaking amazing. It's my favorite setup. All right, my first day using the indicator. Where do I start? So you want to start with the if you want to go watch my YouTube videos, you want to start with the manual. So in the quantum chat, I don't even think I mentioned that yesterday either. In the quantum chat, if you guys are in the quantum chat, check out the pinned messages. The pinned messages, you will find a manual as well, but you have to scroll down pretty. It's been there for a while. The only part of the manual I want everyone to ignore is the settings, because those were before the settings got updated. The settings that I run are the default settings. The only settings you have to modify are the levels. If you want to see the same levels I do on my 1 minute, I look at the 1 minute, the 2 minute, and the 5 minute levels. On the 2 minute chart, I look at the 2 and the 5. On the 5 minute, I look at the 5 and the 15. That's the only thing I modify on my settings. Everything else is default. If you want to see the levels up close like this, you would change the label offset. You'll change the label offset to 5. And that's really it. Outside of that, everything else, it shows you the A++, what makes it an A++, the quantum ranges. I'm gonna make an updated video on it. I also have a video on the manual itself, but again, ignore the settings because the settings did get updated to when we had to kind of work it around. But now we have the settings set to default in terms of what triggers the signals and all that. So I would recommend starting there. After that, you can watch how I use the 5 minute quantum candles as levels. You can also check out the first Wealth Chart Summit video where I did break down a lot of market structure. There's a lot of free chicken in that video. And then any of the most recent study sessions, right? The one from yesterday should be posted at some point. I can't give an actual time frame, but it should be posted at some point. Our uploads are taking a while for some reason. It happened with my course recording too, which is really weird. But hopefully it'll be up so everyone can watch that the next couple days. The 15-minute shows a nasty wick. Not surprised. Is you looking for candlestick patterns? Holy shit! There's the 9 o'clock. Whoa. The golden MVG with the blue candle. I think I mentioned this yesterday, right, guys? I did take it. I had 3 micros in that thing, $150. I got one rolling. Got one runner running. Golden MVG and quantum blue is I'm almost always gonna hit buy or sell. Almost always. It's a very tight stop loss too. Like, look at this. That's my one runner. I just added 140 to that account. I didn't mean to add that much to it, just 3 micros. Yep, you saw it, Snow Tree. Yep, I took that thing. I took it. Very tight stop loss. It was very tight stop loss too. It was literally like a 6-point stop loss. I did not expect it to explode like that though. But 9 o'clock, risky. It's risky. It's very risky. I want to make this clear, right? This is an eval. It's an eval. Okay? Anything, you're trading anything within the 40 minutes of the market open is going to be very risky. On the 2, yes, that is an A++ setup. That crossed right at the center, like slap dab in the middle. Right there, look at that. Couldn't have happened anywhere. Looks like it's in the middle. It's actually like, yeah, it's in the middle. Yep, it's right in the middle. Okay. It's like hard. It looks, I'm zooming in and it kind of looks like it was slightly in front. It's a tiny bit in front. Did pull back and retest. The level hasn't locked in actually, so it's not, no. Actually, the level hasn't locked in. If it was a true A++, that level would have locked in. So it's not. It is not. But blue and a golden MVG is, I'm always almost always gonna hit buy for a quick scalp or a sell, right? If it's a purple and a golden MVG, but again, right? What did I say earlier, right? This 50 area, this 29.05 area, that 2-minute level that we seen hold, this area down here, that's where we've been bouncing. So that's your range right now. Your range is up here and down there, right? This top area and then below. Can it break out, or are we going to continue to range here until market opens and then it's going to decide a direction? All right, I have also this MVG indicator, but it did not show up on me. Are you on MNQ, Barbara? I'm on NQ, remember. NQ and MNQ, different wicks, right? What creates the MVGs will get affected on MNQ. They will. That's just unfortunately something that the separation of volume and the differences they have on the wicks is just something that I wish they wouldn't do. Like TradingView and other platforms do it too. So it's not, I don't think it's a TradingView thing. I just wish that it wasn't the case. They should just be the true NASDAQ volume should just also be on M&Q in my opinion. Yeah. Your entry would have been closer on the 2. The entry on the 2, there's the level lock in. So here, like there it is. So see how the level locked in on this candle? So that cross occurred on this candle, in front of the blue candle. That level locked in after this closed. The entry, I took the entry on the 1 minute. I actually got in, where was it? 29.20. Yeah, I got in up here. That candle closed. I got in at 29.20. My stop loss was below 29.10, and that was it. It was actually more than 5 points. I just looked at it after it wicked down. I didn't get it. I didn't get in on that wick down. I got in on that blue. Stop would have been underneath 29.10. This 5 minute is trying to cross up, so we might have the opening range could be pretty freaking wide for 29,000 all the way up to 29.75. You can see some really big opening action. Not super, oh, I mean, it's not super big. We've seen bigger, but that's spreading the openness up here from that 5 minute to the 5 minute down below. Another blue. So let's see if this breaks here and it makes that push. We're hitting that first level on the red, on the downtrend, right? This is your current little downtrend level, right at 29.57. We also need to break through that guy on that 5, but this is again, right, we're flattening out, we're getting choppy. This is very typical for pre-market, and I want to see what it does. If we open, I want to see what it does up here at this 29.80, or down here at 29 and then 29.81. This 29.81, big bounces so far. Right here, 1, pretty close here, 2, 3. So this whole area is an area to keep an eye for reaction. Above up here, you just have a couple 1 minute levels, right? We break through that 29.107. We have a 2 minute here. You got little reaction zones, but in terms of levels, you got a lot more room. A lot more room up. Especially on the 5. I want to see if the 930 or even 915 breaks this level right here. This 29, what is it? 29.40 level is a 15-minute level. So you need a 15-minute candle to close above that for this to be eliminated. Just had that blue. So again, right, you need to hold over 40 on the 5 and the 15. That was an insanely nice blue and MVG play right there. Now you're getting a little bit of retest. Alright, but again, you still have to be careful. We're still fighting all of this. Could just get extra wicky. But it's, you know, what's nice is that you can see where the pauses happen. You can see where the little fights are, right? You're not ever wondering, what the hell was that? Oh, why did that happen? Oh, what was this? Alright, I can always kind of see where our pauses are going to occur, where your breaks occur, where your retests occur. If it breaks back down below, where we could potentially go. It becomes really fun. Those who love to read markets, it becomes really freaking fun to read every little tiny thing that could potentially happen. And I love to do this, guy. You guys know me. Like, I trade 24/7 if I could. Morning scat. It's retesting that whole 40 area, right? It's trying to hold on to that 40 area. That 15 minute needs to close above that 40 area. So you're going to get a lot of retest, a lot of movement, a lot of back and forth. Up until 9:30. No, this still hasn't taken my payout out. Come on. Come on, Lucid. I'm not touching that account until that payout comes out, so it's just gonna sit there. Let's see. All right, just retesting that 40 right now. It's fighting it. It wants to stay above it, but we'll see what happens here on this 15-minute candle closure. And it needs to break through that 50 and hold above as well, that the 57. 57. So it's already bouncing off the 40, right? You already got one bounce, you got two bounces, each one for 10. And this is where, like, if I have my fun, I'll scalp it, let a runner gets trailed out, and if I see the same reactions until I get stopped out. Again, right, I want 40 to hold on the 5 on the 15. The 1 minute's curling down here, so now I'll be like, nope. Now I'd be watching and be like, never mind now, because you see this curl down, that's gonna lock in a level. You're gonna get this push to potentially down here. But if 40 keeps holding, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You want that 75 retest? Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that too up here. I want to see that get retested, right? There's another quantum purple showing up, trying to. You see how, see, there you go, right? The sequence did not complete. You saw how it changed for a second, pulled up. The sequence didn't complete, now it turned regular. There's always people claiming repaint and shit like that, and I'm like, watch it. Just watch it, right? The signals get triggered for certain things, right? You have to be able to watch where the lines cross. You'll see the repaint, you'll see no repaint in terms of actual movement towards when they're trying to form. Right? You saw it trying to form purple, it didn't complete the sequence, it turned into a regular candle. Right? Again, like these signals right here, right? This one, right? This one locked in on this candle close because it was in front, it was slightly in front. This is super duper close, but again, golden MVG plus a blue is always kind of, I'm always gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it because my stop loss is clear as day, and you know, even if the cross isn't there, even if the cross isn't there with the MVG. Now here's that 1 minute cross, right? We broke back down below. Now can it break back above or not, right? This is the previous break. Can it break back above and break this cross? It's just rangy, right? We hit 41, right? We're still bouncing on that 40. Look at that, right? This big ass retest candle too, up to 34. But this is where we're bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. That 40 is really holding on now. All right. So I'm trying the 1 minute purple BNR. Would a strategic DCA be the 2 minute BNR since it's like a 5-point stop loss difference? It could be. It could be. But this broke all the way back here already. So this one is not valid anymore, right? Once a purple breaks, it's no longer valid. This one's not valid anymore. It already broke and failed. You're only playing the 5 and the 1 right now, right? The 1 and the 5. Did I not mark up my 1 minutes? I didn't. We want to see that 40 hold. We want to see that 40 hold on the 15-minute closure and see if it gives you this little pop. Right, this little pop up to that next area. That's what I want to see. There goes. It's got about 4 minutes, 3 minutes left. Yep. No, that's good. That's good, Easy, right? Those are things, right? Those are little things. Those are little things that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to look at this, or let me zoom out and check this. Those are those little tiny things that will help you peek over that edge, right? And it's like, it seems minuscule, it seems small, but it gives you that extra, oh, I need to be careful for this, or oh yeah, that already broke, it's not valid, or oh, I missed this area or this level. Those little tiny things are literally what can make you become consistent to just going back and forth and being like, why is this not working, right? Everything is about dissecting every reason something may not work, right? This 15 minute is fighting this 40 very, very, very strong right now. It wants to test that 40 over and over and over again. I wish, Chris, I wish that was me right now. but it's not, unfortunately. No Mary Jane in me right now. All right, there's that pull down under 40 slightly. Can it break underneath now and test in deeper? That 15-minute candle closure is going to be very important. All right, if it closes below, we're still stuck in this chop. Very important to wait for candle closures. All right. So I'm trying the 1 minute per moment. All right. Let's watch and see what this last 2 minutes wants to do. 2 minutes here. We're building all these little levels here. Now I can move this up. Right now we got a barrier at 53. There's that pull down. Looks like the 15-minute is struggling to hold above. We might get this pulled down to that 2019. Unless that 15-minute makes a miraculous comeback. And this is a clear example why candle closure is very, very, very important. Always have to wait for those candle closures. But again, right, you had opportunity to just scalp 40 a couple times. Then once it broke, right, now it broke 40. You even got a quantum signal, right? You could scalp that move down too for a quick 10-pointer. It's just the fun that you can have when you know how to, read the chop, read the markets. It becomes really freaking fun. Let's see if it gets to that 19 level. Look how much it's tightening up. You guys see how much it's tightening up, and the closer we get to New York. All right, now we're gonna have another quantum purple up here. So now the 50 area, building barriers. All right, I want to actually mark this guy here. This blue down here. All right, and then the purple if it stays this last few seconds. We got close. All right. This is going to lock it a 2-minute level at 36. And now the 5 minutes getting tighter and tighter and tighter. 5-minute open is going to be the New York Open today is going to be kind of interesting. You're definitely going to see some bouncing if it's looking this tight. I'm going to keep an eye on these levels. That 29 psychological, 2980, and then all the way up here at 2980, 29,080, and then 28,980. I want to make sure I say that clearly. Never anticipation entries, Chris. Never anticipation entries. I used to get cooked on those too. Are we in a 15-minute range as well, Scat? Oh yeah, look at that. We got a 15-minute range built in as well. Yeah, so yes, that is clean looking actually. So if we get this down move, right? If we get this down move underneath that 29,000, break that 2980, we got room. We got room. If we can break that, then we got 28,926, then potentially 28,780 all the way down here. But it is uptrending, very steep uptrend. We have failed to break that, so it's in an interesting spot for sure. It's a very interesting spot. Now we're getting more and more trapped, more compression. You're gonna see boom, 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 and eventually you're gonna see a closure above one of these areas. Orb, I'm curious where orb is gonna be. Do you play BNR or rejections off the levels or just off? I play them off the levels too, easy trade. Everything quantum is break and retest. right? You just have to make sure you wait for the candle, and you have to wait for the candle closure, and you want to have room, right? So in combination, right? If you're going to short here, if you're going to play a break and retest of here, how much room do I have from here to here? Not much, right? That's not worth it. You want to have room in between moves. That's the key to the whole thing. Yeah, never just rejections. Yeah. And again, right, make it your own, right? Look at the frequency of setups that make sense to you, right? Don't try to read it like I do. Obviously, I've been trading this thing for a long time. I can read everything. To me, it's natural. To everyone else who's learning the system, it's not going to start that way, right? You're going to be like trying to see everything all at once. You're going to just overload yourself. It's about learning each individual thing, right? Those that learn how to play orb, master playing the orb, right? The breaks and retest, or some people like to actually play the break-ins and things like that, and that's all they stick to, right? You can stick to something that makes sense to you. So that's the whole key to this thing, is you want to play things that make sense to you. And stick to it. Then you can start adding other information and confluences, other little things that you notice that continue to play, right? The purple candles being one of those major, the purple and blue candles being one of the bases of it, right? Where I tell everyone the easiest setups to learn is the breaks and retest of the quantum candles, right? But again, right, play with the trend, not against it. That's the best way to kind of get a grasp of it. Then the signals are best when you have strong added confluences, right? The confluences over here on 54 for this signal was that midline area for the downtrend on the 5 right here, right? That 53, 57 area. So this one would have been a decent one to potentially test. Then you have the ranges when you have the back and forth blues and purples, and then you have to wait for that to break. You have to wait for the range, and you want to have room from one point to the next point. All right, each individual setup has its pluses and its minuses. All right, so each one is going to give you a different style of play. The bread and butter for me is break and retest of the purples and the blues, and the levels if they have room to the next area. That's the easiest to set up, right? The next one would be the A++, but you have to have good confluences attached to those. 920, we're at 920. Still uptrending. Right, if you're looking at the one, it is uptrending. The 2 is uptrending as well. The 5 is kind of trapped. The 5 to me looks a little undecided. It is in a slight, but right, it did break this little here, this little peak earlier. That 80 level held. It's kind of slowly grinding up a little bit. The blues are obviously still getting respected while the purples are breaking here and there. Right, so I'm still seeing it wants to hold, it wants to still push up until I start seeing a flip, meaning I start to see the blues start to break. Right, we do got a golden MVG all the way down here, which if you listen to Max today during the morning show, you'll probably hear him say, I want to see that MVG fill. So he'll probably be looking at a short at some point to fill that MVG. I don't have anything else below. We also have some above though. I don't know where up there they were. They're like way up there. Okay, so you're now getting min ready for New York Open. When you say room, let's say I'm going for 10 points. Should I like for 10 points? You want more than 10 points of room. So when I'm saying room, you want to at least have like 15 to 20 points of room. Because remember, there's no guarantee it's going to hit a level. There's no guarantee it's going to hit that candle. These are resistance areas, right? Just like in this example here, right? Look, we got really close, right? We got really close to the level within $50, right? That's close, but there's no guarantee it's actually going to tap it. So you want there to be a decent amount of room between your move and that next level. And you want your TP to kind of be right before. You don't want to aim for the level itself. The closer it gets, the closer I trail, and I'll let a runner breathe a little bit in case it wants to break the level. Right? Like, it's actually tapping it right now, okay? As I'll try to explain, but again, right? I don't like to use these as TPs because there's potential of them not getting touched. Awesome, easy. Awesome, awesome. All right, we're still just chopping around these areas. Again, blues are still holding their ground. We're constantly testing purples. We're not really testing blues. We had one blue break down here. We've had 1, 2 purples break, 3, 4, 5. So 5 purple breaks versus just 2 blue breaks. So definitely the bulls trying to continue to take charge. Same thing on the 5 minute, right? We had that purple break over here. These 2, 3 blues have been holding. We've had this purple holding still though, that big boy up here, right? Slowly grinding it, testing it. It's gonna be interesting to see what this opening looks like. We got a couple more minutes. I'm gonna answer questions for a couple more minutes, and then we gotta transfer over to the morning show. So you can kind of see where the range is built up and where you can potentially have reactions. This 5 minute is very tight, very tight. So the top spot 29.80 and then 28.980. 28.80, 28.9, 100 points up here between the two levels. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what orb ended up being, but we'll see, right? It could absolutely peek through each one. The cloud is confusing. The cloud is just the trend, right? When it flatlines, when you have it flatlining, this is the range spot, right? You got 2 levels. You got your bright level and your green and your dark level. The bright level is the 5 minute, the current time frame. The bright level, okay? The dark level is a blend of your 10 and 15. So when you're looking at the cloud, right? If you're looking at the cloud, you're looking for how much room you have to play with once it breaks that first area, right? If this breaks the quantum candle here is actually perfectly aligned with where we are with that bright and the dark, right? That midline right here is right perfectly aligned with that quantum candle. If we break this, we have room from 29.57 all the way up to 29.103 on the cloud itself to test that trend. Anything in between are going to be your barriers to get up there, right? Right in between, right there, almost at the midpoint, is that 5 minute level at 29.79. But you have to break through this. You have to break and hold, right? This is just regular trend, break and hold, or range at this point. Now it's flatline. It's more of a range than a trend, right? You want to break and hold and then make that push up to the next area. And then if you're going to break this area, that's the next push up to there. Once this breaks, you're going to see a flip to the green, right? If you look over here, okay, this is where your trend flipped, right? You had a little break and retest on this trend flip. Right down here, there's your break and retest. And you were red, and then finally you did the exact same thing over here. You broke that, break and retest. Then you broke this, broke, continued, and it gave you a retest over here. Right there. Right? And then your trend on the green flipped, but you had a deeper area to build down to potentially. Didn't manage to re-break this flip over here. Held and pushed all the way back up. All the way back up. It's been holding. Here, tip break. You did have a break and retest, little push, right? We had that level below. And look where we're rejecting. We're constantly rejecting that area. Once this breaks, you're going to see a little flip of green, and then you're going to have to break that second area to completely flip green. Would you wait for the candle close above the area? Yes, you have to wait for candle closure. And that's the cloud. That's why it's only on the 5 minute. It used to be on the 1, the 2, and the 5. We eliminated it because I don't look at it on the 1 or the 2 at all. The 1 and the 2 was too compressed of a trend, and it would easily flip back and forth. But that's what the trend cloud is. It's just an extra area to gauge the trend. So that space in here. Look at that push happening, right? So if we see this candle close above, you're going to see a little flipping green. All right. So we got 3 minutes left. So hopefully that cleared it up a little bit for you. What's the red line called on the 2 minute? The red line? That thing, this little red line you have up here, that's your stop loss line. If you're in A+, these only show on A++ setups, or not A++. Anytime the signal comes up, right? Anytime the signal comes up, that will show up as your stop loss guide. But again, right? Don't enter the ones that cross in front, right? This one just did a little advanced read retest, right? But these will show up on any signal. That's your stop loss. Look where we're rejecting again. Look, see? We're rejecting that 57 area again. Will you wait for candle close? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Nice little New York session. Let's see what it does as we're bouncing around, right? Again, 15 minute needs to break above 40. right? This 15 minute, this opening 40 might be what I'm looking at. We have 80, 29.880, and then below that 28.980. So this 40 just bounced off of it, as I was saying, right? I want to see what this 30 closes, and then we got to see what it does if it pushes 29.80. Above 29.80, then we need to snap over 29.104. And then we have that one minute level there. But all right, all, let's go over to the morning show. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Trade safe, right? Trade safe. New York Open is wild, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.